Hi guys, my name is Kube and this is Kube Says. This is a podcast that has been created by a Zambian, me, for Zambians, you. And the reason why it was created in the first place was to give you a new perspective on a whole lot of things that have probably been discussed lots and lots of times in the past, but never discussed by Zambians. So today we're going to be discussing something that makes a lot of people really uncomfortable. Even the mention of it just makes some people cringe. And I think the reason why a lot of people cringe, either they remember the pain that's associated with it and they're like, yeah, and it's still coming. It's still coming. This month, it's still coming. And then there are those that think, oh, it's got nothing to do with me. Trust me, if you are dating women, if you are working with women, if you are associating with women in any which way, I suggest you stick around. You might learn something. Today we're going to be discussing the infamous and sometimes crazy menstrual cycle. So ladies and gentlemen especially, because I know when I said menstrual cycle, most of you are like, should I even be here? Stick around. Trust me, you will learn something. So when you mention the menstrual cycle, most people, right, only think about that period part of it. But I'm here to let you know that the entire cycle, like the whole process, takes a period of between 28 and 32 days. Now, the period that it takes to do this depends on your age, your health, whether you've had children, and also just basically who you are. So every female has a different experience with this. Now, most people don't even know how the cycle is counted. So the cycle is counted from the first day your current period starts all the way to the first day your next period starts. So that is the one that's between 28 and 32 days. I want you to understand what's going on. Your menstrual cycle is your body preparing itself, right, to have a baby. So it goes through all the motions, it goes through all the hormonal changes, and it does the work. It does the full preparation, right? But if this baby doesn't happen, or if this baby is not conceived, that's when your body now needs to shed everything that is prepared. The uterine lining, the egg, everything needs to come out of you. And that is what this whole process is about. So I'm going to go through each of the phases. I'm going to give you an understanding of 1, what your body is doing, 2, what your body is going through, and 3, what your partner or the people who you live with, if you live with anybody, can help you with in order for you to go through these different phases and not have like the worst experience each and every time it comes around. I want you to picture a box. And in this box, there are 4 little boxes, okay? And each one of those little boxes is going to be a representation of one of the phases of the menstrual cycle. So out of your imaginary box, you pick out little box number 1. That is phase 1, and that is the menstruation phase. We're going to call it Menstruation Madness. And this is the phase that everybody who knows anything about the menstrual cycle knows about. We call her the lady in red, the unwelcome visitor. And this is basically your body throwing out the confetti, except this confetti is red and it's liquid and it does not come out without a fight. Okay, so this phase is where your body at this point is shedding all the things that it had prepared for the conception of a child. So it's going to be shedding your uterine lining, it's going to be shedding that mature egg that had come through for that month. And it is not a pleasant time. And it's not like it's big whoosh. No, it just doesn't come out. No, it's an actual cramp and it pushes itself out of your body. So now, as a person going through it, at this point, you're having cramps, you are likely to be very tired, and you're also very emotional at this point. So a partner or people around you would have to take that into consideration. If you're a partner, find out if the person who's going through this has got everything that they need. So you might need to ask things like, okay, do you have all your sanitary wear? If they don't, you might want to take a sanitary wear run. You might want to provide them with painkillers as well, because some people, the pain ranges from, it's not so bad, to anguish, like it's painful. So you need to find that out. The third thing you need to do also is just prepare or be prepared to provide endless black cups of tea, because the warmth from the tea apparently has some sort of healing effect as well, so it does help. Talking of warmth, you also might want to prepare yourself to also prepare hot water bottles as well, because those also help a lot with the effects of what's going on in your body right now. So your person for the first 2 days will probably not be very verbal. They won't want to really talk. For the most part, they might even want to be left alone. So you might need to give them space. But around day 3, you find that they become more vocal. They start talking a bit more. And the reason this happens is because day 3, there's a pickup in their levels of estrogen. And the pickup in levels of estrogen is because there's an overlap in phases. Phase 2 starts around the 3rd and 4th day. So there's that overlap. And when that overlap happens, the estrogen levels go up. The second stage, or the second phase, is known as the Follicular Fiesta. And there's 2 things going on here in your body. Number 1 is the ovaries are looking around and they're like, there's a lot of eggs here, but we need to choose the MVP, the one who's going to go and represent us. So that selection is made. Once that egg is selected, it's then allowed to mature. And once it's matured, it's now sent down from the ovaries, down the fallopian tubes to the uterus. But the uterus also on the other end is also preparing itself for pregnancy, because you don't know whether a baby will be conceived or not. So the uterus is just doing a by the way prep. So it's also preparing itself, whatever it is that's to come. Now, during this time, another thing is that your estrogen levels are peaking, which means you are happy, like it feels like springtime in your body. So you as a person going through this is when you're at your happiest. And then partners, this is a great time for you to now enjoy your partner. Go out, have a good time, have picnics, go out for little, dates, whatever it is that you like to do together. This is the best time to do that, because you're going to get the most enjoyable version of your partner at this point. Also, be thoughtful, because right now, I don't know why, but there's this record keeping that happens within her. She appreciates gestures a whole lot more during this period than any other. So be thoughtful, do thoughtful things. If she likes flowers, this is the time to send the flowers to the office. Okay? Also, if you hear nothing else from what I've said today, like nothing, if you recorded, if you haven't written anything down, day 3 to day 12, this is your secret time. This is your secret weapon. If your relationship is having any issues, right? Day 3 to day 12, this is the time when you can raise those issues, and you won't be facing somebody who will come at you defensively. They'll be more willing to engage with you. They'll be more willing to listen to you. So this is the best time for you to try and deal with conflicts within your relationship. Okay? So yeah, that's the follicular phase. The follicular phase, remember, it's all about the selection of that egg. And once that egg is selected and it matures, the next stage is the ovulation stage. So the follicular phase that we just discussed ends in ovulation overdrive. Now, ovulation overdrive is a very, very important period, and it's also a very short period. It lasts between 16 and 32 hours. Now, what is happening at this stage is that the ovum or the egg, right, has been released from the ovaries and is sitting in the fallopian tube. And while it's sitting in the fallopian tube, it's waiting for fertilization. Now, Okay, listen, open please, open. If you are trying to have a baby, the first 5 days before ovulation, as well as the day of ovulation itself, are the most likely time for you to be able to conceive. Are you listening? But those of you who don't want to conceive, the first 5 days before ovulation and the day of ovulation should be avoided at all costs. If you can't avoid them, then take all the precautions, because this is the time when you're most likely to get pregnant, because that whole egg is just waiting for fertilization. That's what's happening at this point. Then this period usually lasts, remember I said it just lasts a few hours, but it happens around the 15th day. So on that day, you're also going to notice a change in the mood of your partner yet again. And the reason this change happens is because there's been a change in hormones as well. So remember that I had said that the uterus was preparing itself during the follicular stage, okay? But at this point, you notice that your levels of estrogen reduce and the levels of progesterone increase. And when that change or that swap in hormones happens, that is when you can now say, I'm officially in the Luteal Lagoon. So the fourth and final phase of the menstrual cycle is the Luteal Lagoon. And what's happening here is your body has undergone all the preparation for pregnancy. So right now the uterus is like waiting to catch the egg. Now the egg has matured, it's ready, and it's now formed what is known as a corpus luteum. Now, remember that I had mentioned earlier that the uterus was preparing itself, and that preparation is two things. One is there's a mucus plug that's being produced in the cervix so that nothing can enter there, no bacteria, nothing can enter the uterus. So there's that. And the second thing that's also happening is the walls of the uterus are thickening. This is to allow that corpus luteum that has been produced, or that mature egg, to come and now implant. Now, if fertilization occurred, that egg is going to come in, implant, and grow in the uterus. But if fertilization did not occur, what's going to happen is that corpus luteum is going to dissolve. That your uterine lining needs to also be discarded of, and that mucus that was produced as a plug to prevent bacteria entering the uterus also has to be discarded of. So this discarding of all of these things will lead to the cycle beginning again. You're going to experience a change in your hormones. You're going to move from having that happy high estrogen to having the lower, more docile progesterone taking over. So your temperament is going to be affected, you're going to be calmer, you're going to be more relaxed, and eventually, when your cycle begins again, you're going to get back to that tired and crampy state that you were in initially. So, yes, it's a cycle, like we've said, and we have covered the full cycle. And you as a partner at this stage, what you're supposed to be doing is just kind of reminding your person, like, this is just a phase. We will go through it, or we'll get through it together. And whatever you need, I'm here for you. That's all anybody really needs to get through this, because a lot of it is emotional. There is some physical challenges, yes, but like the emotional side of it, I think, is more of the bigger cross to bear. So if you can just offer hugs, a listening ear, that would be great of you. And I think your partner would really, really appreciate it. If you've got any tidbits, if there's anything that you do maybe that I haven't yet covered, or anything that I didn't discuss, please feel free to drop that information in my comments below. Also, for those of you who are new to my podcast, Facebook, the handle is Kube Says. YouTube, Kube Says. I think I'm the easiest person to find. Instagram, Kube Says. So just take a look around. You should be able to find our daily poll questions as well as other episodes. that we have previously recorded. Until next time, I'm Kube, and this is Kube Says.